Before the story continues, help me reach 7,000 subscribers. Hit the subscribe button, drop a like, and tell me in the comments if you want more stories like this. Your support means everything. I used to think silence was harmless, that a quiet house just meant peace. But over the last year, silence started sounding like distance, and distance started feeling like a slow kind of goodbye. My name is Evan, I'm 38, and until recently, I thought my marriage to Lila was steady, if not perfect. We'd been together long enough to see our rough edges, but not long enough, apparently, for her to admit what she'd been hiding. The first crack appeared one evening in January. She'd come home late, coat half-buttoned, hair damp from the snow. She didn't kiss me, didn't smile, just walked past me as if she had been away for a year and wasn't sure she remembered me. I asked if everything was okay. She said she was tired. That became her answer to everything. Still, I stayed patient, maybe too patient. I blamed work stress, her family, seasonal depression, anything except the possibility that she had stopped choosing me. Every time she pulled away, I leaned in closer, not realizing how desperate that must have looked. The night things shifted completely was a Friday. I had made dinner, nothing fancy, just roasted chicken and asparagus. But I'd set the table properly, lit a candle, even put her favorite citrus drink in the fridge. She walked in, glanced at the meal, and sighed like it was an inconvenience. "We need a break," she said. No explanation, no warning, no accusation. Just those 3 words. A break. I remember gripping the back of the chair to hide the shake in my hands. I didn't argue. I didn't plead. I didn't even ask why. Something in her eyes told me she had already rehearsed this moment. Maybe for weeks. She packed a bag within 10 minutes. As she headed for the door, she whispered, "I just need space. Evan, please don't make this harder." The door closed, and the silence that followed wasn't peaceful. It was final. Speech balloon. Quick pause. What would you have done if your partner suddenly said, "We need a break," with no explanation? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. The first week alone was a blur. I kept telling myself she needed time, that she'd come back clearer, maybe softer. My friend Colin told me to accept that sometimes people walk out emotionally long before they walk out physically. But I held on to hope the way people hold on to photos, because letting go felt like admitting everything was over. Then, out of nowhere, she returned. It was late afternoon. The sun was low, pouring orange light into the living room. I was on the couch, half asleep, when the front door opened softly and Lila stepped inside. Her eyes were red, and her makeup looked smudged, like she'd been crying in the car for a long time before gathering the courage to come in. She didn't say hello. She didn't set her bag down. She just walked straight to me and collapsed into my chest like she had been holding her breath for days. "I can't be without you," she whispered, her voice shaking. "I made a mistake, a huge mistake." For a moment, my heart betrayed me. It leapt toward her, toward the familiarity of her weight against me, the scent of her shampoo, the memory of the woman I'd married. I wrapped my arms around her automatically, as if muscle memory had more faith than I did. But then something felt off. It wasn't guilt in her voice. It was fear. And not fear of losing me. Something else. Something she wasn't saying. "Lila," I said quietly, "what happened?" She just held me tighter, burying her face into my shirt like she expected someone to pull her away. Before I could press further, a sound echoed from down the hallway. The bathroom door opening, followed by steam drifting into the hallway. And then footsteps. I turned. Standing in the doorway, wrapped in a towel, hair dripping from a fresh shower, was Marin, Lila's younger sister. What do you think Marin's smirk really meant? Was she exposing Lila, or hiding something of her own? Drop your theory in the comments. I'm curious what you think. For a moment my brain couldn't process the scene fast enough. Marin wasn't supposed to be here. She lived an hour away. And she definitely wasn't supposed to be stepping out of my hallway bathroom looking like she belonged there. She met my eyes, gave a slow, unmistakably deliberate smirk, and said, "Well, if she wants you back." She tilted her head, voice dripping with meaning. "Then she'll have to learn." My body froze. My mind raced. Lila jerked away from me like she'd been caught stealing. The color drained from her face so fast she almost looked translucent. Marin, what are you doing? Lila snapped, her voice cracking. But Marin just leaned against the doorframe, completely unbothered. It was the smile that unsettled me most. Calm. Knowing. A little cruel. I mean, she continued casually, if she walked out claiming she needed space, and now she wants to come back, she doesn't get to pretend nothing happened. Lila spun around to me, panicked. Evan, she's lying. Please, don't listen to her. But Marin just raised an eyebrow, enjoying every second. I didn't say anything. Couldn't. My heart felt like someone had reached inside and twisted it sharply. Because the way Marin looked at me, the way she said those words, the towel, the timing, the smirk, it didn't feel like a lie. Felt like a confession. Lila's breathing went uneven, like she was trapped between rage and panic. She reached for my hand, but I stepped back. Not because I wanted to hurt her, but because my body reacted before my mind could catch up. Something inside me was trying to protect whatever pieces of clarity I still had left. Marin, I said carefully, why are you here? Her smile widened a little, slow and almost playful, but her eyes carried something sharper, like she knew she was holding a match over gasoline. Relax, Evan, she said. I'm just telling the truth. Something Lila hasn't exactly mastered. Lila whipped toward her. Stop it. Just stop. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, trust me, Marin replied. I do. The tension thickened between them, a silent storm crackling in the air. I could feel my pulse in my throat. Every instinct told me that whatever happened during the weeks Lila was gone, it wasn't simple, and it wasn't something she planned to explain. Evan, she pleaded, her voice trembling. I swear to you, nothing happened. She's trying to hurt me because she's angry at me. She's always been like this. Oh, please, Marin said with a soft scoff. If you want him back, just be honest. Tell him why you really left. Lila's face contorted. Shut up. That was it. That was the crack. The reaction wasn't defensive, it was terrified. I turned fully toward her. Why did you leave, Lila? Her lips parted, but no words came. Her hands shook. This wasn't the reaction of someone falsely accused. It was someone cornered by a truth they hoped would stay buried. Marin, I said again, tell me. But Lila lunged first. She grabbed Marin's arm and shoved her back into the hallway, hissing through clenched teeth. Don't you dare. Don't say a word. You don't understand what you're doing. Marin didn't push back. She just looked at her sister, really looked at her, with a mixture of disappointment and defiance. When she spoke, her voice softened in a way I didn't expect. I'm not doing this to hurt you, she said quietly. I warned you. I told you not to leave him like that. I told you running off wouldn't fix the mess you made. Lila blinked rapidly, her eyes filling with tears. Please, she whispered. Not like this. Suddenly, the room didn't feel like my home anymore. It felt like a confession chamber. And the truth, whatever it was, sat between us like a weight. Marin, I said once more, please, just tell me what happened. She exhaled, dropped her gaze for a moment, then looked up with an expression I couldn't quite decipher. Fine, she said, but don't blame me for saying what she won't. Lila closed her eyes like the world was ending. When she left, Marin began slowly. She wasn't planning to come back. My stomach tightened, but I didn't interrupt. She didn't need space, Evan. She needed an escape. She told me she was done with the marriage, that she felt suffocated, that she wanted to try something different. She stayed with me for the first few days while she figured out where to go. Lila shook her head violently, tears spilling down her cheeks. That's not. I didn't, Marin. Stop twisting it. Marin ignored her. And then, she continued, when she realized the person she left for wasn't serious about her, she came running back. The words hit me like cold water. Left for someone else. Lila let out a broken sob. Evan, it wasn't like that. It wasn't. He wasn't. I didn't cheat. Marin lifted a shoulder in a half shrug. Emotionally, you did. Physically, maybe not. But you left our house crying over him, not your husband. The floor felt unsteady beneath me, like the room was tilting. I stared at Lela, waiting for denial, explanation, anything. But all she did was crumble into herself, her hands pressed against her face. Before the story ends, do you think Evan should forgive her or walk away for good? Comment your honest opinion. And if you're still here, hit subscribe. You clearly enjoy deep storytelling. Marin, I said quietly, why were you in the shower? She gave a small, tired sigh. Because I came here with her, to make sure she actually talked to you and didn't fall apart halfway through. She begged me to come. I wasn't here for whatever you're imagining. Lila nearly collapsed at that, relief and humiliation colliding in her expression. So the towel and the smirk, what was that? I asked. Marin offered a faint, almost guilty smile. That was me being petty. She's hurt you enough. Someone needed to shake her. Lila covered her face again, overwhelmed. The storm in the room finally settled. Not calm, but clarity heavy. The truth wasn't as scandalous as it first appeared, but it was still painful in a different, quieter way. I sat down slowly, feeling the weight of everything settle on my chest. Lila knelt in front of me, tears dripping onto my jeans. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I thought I wanted something else. I thought I'd feel alive again. But it was nothing. It was stupid. And I lost myself in the process. I lost us. I let her speak. I let the silence that followed stretch long enough for the sting to dull. Then I finally said the words that had been forming since the moment she walked out weeks ago. You didn't lose us, Lila. I looked straight into her eyes. You let us go. Her face crumpled with fresh grief. Marin exhaled softly, almost sadly. I stood up, steady now. Not angry, not vengeful, just clear. You came back because being alone scared you, I said. Not because you chose me. Evan, please, give me a chance to prove. I shook my head. You had your chance. You spent it somewhere else. The final silence wasn't painful this time. It was clean. Marin stepped aside, giving me space as I walked past them both toward the door. My first step out of the life I had been begging to save. And for once, Lila's silence didn't feel like distance. Felt like the truth setting me free.